my name is Natalia, and today I'll be talking to you about the importance of culture. So, when thinking about culture, like we automatically think about our own cultures and where we grew up at with what families and the different cultures of each family. So, when we're growing up in our culture, we all have the same but different perspectives of what the meaning means. Only because our ideal norms would be our own culture. However, it's important to learn about the various cultures around us and the different ways of life and seeing life in a broader perspective. We live off culture because it is almost an instruction to life on how we can act and interact with the world. It kind of gives us a barrier of a sense of almost like we're not born into this world like knowing how to act, but in culture we learn these things by observing our families, like getting used to the social order of each family. So something that I think is very important in culture is that you feel almost a sense of self, and a self and it's almost nurturing. And this means like you feel comfortable, like you feel almost at home, that you're around your people. And when people say your people, they mean almost like your home, your family, like the people around you. You can laugh with them without having to think about what you're saying. It's just different levels of feeling. And when you don't understand different cultures, like two cultures, if you don't understand one, it's not going to work out. Like you're really not going to feel nurtured, and you're not going to really feel like that culture is your home because you know nothing of it. However, in your culture, you're feeling more at home, and you feel a more platform underneath you from all the people around you that you watched growing up. You watch them doing all these actions and how they acted with others, interactions, and that is vital for one's like current being and how they act towards others. So another thing that is really important to cultures is their traditions. So traditions are basically things that go all the way back to like our ancestors. Like it goes on for years because that's how big the tradition was. And a tradition can be even small things like art and like making tamales. Like my family loves making tamales. We make tamales every year for Christmas. You won't find that in some other families. However, it is a culture thing. So, from an article called Italian Cultures, Facts, Customs, and Traditions, it states that Italian culture traces its roots back to the ancient world and has influenced art, fashion, food around the world. This means tradition can go all the way back to years, and influence like present time. You know how many stuff that we get just in America that are influenced from the Venezuela Italian, like the three waters. We got the three waters, and we got inspired with different forms of art. We got inspired by different forms of fashion, which is something that the world loves to share, is their fashion. And that is a shared culture, which is really beautiful because it's just keeps ongoing traditions, and it shares the ongoing traditions to other cultures, which is beautiful to me. Also, it gives you almost like a broader perspective of the world. When understanding different cultures, you seem to connect on a deeper level to each individual you speak to. Understanding their culture also helps you understand why they act the way they act and why they do the things they do. This is like almost stigma. So when we are like asking ourselves why people do the things they do, we forget to ask ourselves why do we do what we do want to do. So these are because of social order in our families. each family and culture are gonna have different social order and social norms, what they consider normal and what they consider non-normal. Whether I wear a mask, whether I don't, whether I wear hijab, whether I don't, because of my culture. Just depending on the culture, there is different sociology rules that you can like truly think about, like stigma and an idea that keeps like basically social order, which is like laws, regulations, and formal rules. In culture, like we observe like the overall patterns around us, so we come to think those are normal, and in our eyes those are the social norms. In society, that's the real question: is it the social norms? So also a good thing about cultures is that it's a good money bringer. It's a good money bringer. Let me tell you this, because according to an article written by Grand Theater, culture always plays an important role in growth of economic progress within society. Culture is more likely to have greater economic opportunities and wealth depending on how diverse it is. This means that with different cultures, like we all have our own signature, like things that like our own signature artifacts that other cultures might not have. For an example, if a creation of a food, a creation of like a style, a like music, like all these are culture in different ways to get money. And like I'm saying, if many cultures come together and build, like sell, trade, however, their cultural makings, it can cause like a lot of money coming. Like it's the reason why economic grows as culture grows. It's just how it goes, you know. And I would call like that's like the main highlight to it, is that it highlights and empathizes growth in economic and business opportunities, and that's what everyone looks for these days. So in conclusion, living in culture is finding instruction or guidance into your life, being an instruction to how we can live life comfortably and understand like the world in a bigger picture, understanding the economic growths, opportunities, the culture sharing. Like there's so much positive thing about culture. Well, you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for listening to my speech.